Phil Aston from Spedding magazine with a quick review of a 2 CD set from Cherry Red Records from the 70s imprint, which is where all the glam rock lives, and this is the Arrows, the complete collection. So I'll just show you straight away what's inside this little package, which is really cool. So here it is. This is the Arrows, the complete collection, part of Cherry Red. This is the 70s imprint. Disc 1 contains First Hit, which is their only album, and Disc 2 includes all the singles plus the Arrowvision tracks as well. So on the first panel I've got an image there of the back of the first album, the 2 discs, and there's a nice booklet as well, which has lots of images of the sheet music, different photos, and then obviously details of the 3 members of the band, who none of them are with us anymore. Full history of the band goes into a lot of detail, lots of picture sleeve singles along the way. It's a great essay. Then we've got all the pictures of the RAK original singles, 7-inch singles. Then the story continues with more picture sleeves, and continues about how the band, what the band did and the musicians did afterwards. The essay is by Phil Hendriks from November 2022, and we've got credits for the tracks on discs 1 and disc 2, and finally a picture of the front and back of the only album that they made, mastered by James Bragg. Wonderful little set from Cherry Red. So that's the Arrows, the complete collection, 2 CD set from Cherry Red. Now some of you might be thinking, I don't really know the Arrows. You do. I Love Rock and Roll, made famous by Joan Jett and even Britney Spears, I believe. You know that song. It was a B-side for the lads, because Mickey Most, for it was he who headed up RAK Records, didn't think it was good enough to be the A-side. All the A-sides were written by other people. This is 1974-ish when this band starts, and glam rock was past its peak. But there were still lots of bands who were making single after single after single and not making albums, and the Arrows were one of them. And so by the time they got round to doing an album, it didn't come out till 1976, and some of you now, as we look back through the lens of 2023, will think 2 years. Don't matter. It did then. It matters a lot, because by the time we got to 1976, the world was changing, and for this band, it was changing too fast. If you think about what was going on in 1976 with Punk Just Round the Corner, I was listening to Rainbow Rising, etc. My little singles of Touch Too Much by the Arrows were being put away, not to be played again for a long while. That really was the case. But this band they had so many breaks, and they themselves must have thought they were going to be absolutely huge. They're on the RAK record label. They've had some hits. They still haven't made their first album yet. That now they're releasing songs that Record Mirror and Sounds are saying this is going to make it for the Arrows, and it doesn't quite do it. And then where was it? I think in the notes it says here they were support act for Shawaddy Waddy during October 1975. Not quite sure what kind of a match that was really. But ITV producer Muriel Young had seen the Arrows perform I Love Rock and Roll on a pop TV show and was so impressed that she offered them their own TV series called The Arrows, which would take over from the Bay City Rollers TV show called Shangalang in the tea time slot. Imagine what that must have been like. To begin your own TV show, you're taken over from the Rollers. You must have thought, this is it. We are going to be hitting the big time now. And the Arrows' final single, Once Upon a Time, B-side with the boogiest band in town, was issued on the 27th of February 1976. Both sides composed by the tried and trusted hit-writing team of Bill Martin and Phil Courtier, whose songs have provided major successes for the Rollers, Kenny and Slick. So you can see what kind of neighbourhood these songs were sitting in, really. And they thought it would be ideal for the theme tune to the new series, but the single never achieved the crucial BBC airplay that it needed. And unable to chart, again it was more bad luck for the Arrows. Now, the Arrows TV show had 15 episodes and ran from the 2nd of March 76 to the 22nd of June 1976. And they also did a second series which ran for 14 episodes from the 28th of September to the 21st of December 1976 before it was pulled. And by the time they released their first album, Mickey Most wasn't interested anymore, and it was all starting to unravel. But what they've left behind is a wonderful set of songs, and I really believe that this is they deserve their place in. I wouldn't say they're not glam rock. I mean, I Love Rock and Roll, Touch Too Much, Moving Next Door to You, Broken Down Heart. They were all hard-hearted, all really good. The album is a very polished pop album. It reminds me of Pilot in some ways. And Dare You Not to Dance sounds like a Wild Cherry in places. But, you know, all of them carried on within the music business. Jake Hooker married singer-actress Lorna Luft, daughter of Jeannie Garland, in February 1977, and after the Arrows disbanded in 1978, he relocated to Los Angeles to manage his wife's career, becoming a showbiz manager and entrepreneur until his death in 2014. Drummer Paul Varley joined the band Darling in 78, and he had a relationship with Mark Bolan's ex-wife June, and they had a daughter together, but sadly Paul passed away from pneumonia in 2008 at the age of 59. In 1978, Alan Merrill formed Runner with Steve Gord, recording the album Runner, which charted briefly in 79. He released a solo album, and he was also the touring guitarist for Meat Loaf in 1987 Live at Wembley hit album. During the 90s, Alan wrote the theme tune for American Kids detective TV series entitled Who Done It, and even guest starred in an episode of the show. He recorded albums with Vodka Collins, Joan Tiven Group and others, and he continued to record and perform and regularly throughout the 2000s and 2010s, and had just completed his last album, It's Always Rock and Roll, when his life was cut short when he caught COVID in the early part of the pandemic. And so the whole band are no more. And so this is a wonderful tribute and collection of all that music from Cherry Red. The Runaways toured the UK in 1976 and saw the Arrows playing I Love Rock and Roll, and Joan Jett fell in love with the song, and obviously had a massive hit in 1982. And in 1998, Five's hit Everybody Get Up utilised the song's main guitar riff, and then in 2002, Britney Spears' cover version introduced the song to a whole new audience. So while the Arrows never achieved commercial success they really deserved, their place in music history and pop history is assured in this great little 2-disc set. And I've played it a lot, and I've got quite a few of those singles on RAK Records, I have to say, and they sound very worse for wear. But here I've got everything in perfect CD quality, and I absolutely love it. So thank you, Cherry Red, for taking the time to focus in on a band that didn't sell that much in the first place. And that's the great thing about releases like this. It's a chance that nothing gets left undiscovered for too long. And that's what I like to see, you know, going forward with CDs, really, that some of the things that, you know, are hard to find can find new eyes and ears to appreciate them in years to come. So, thank you for watching, thank you for being here, thank you for all your support. Remember, music is the healer and the doctor. Stay safe, keep spinning those records, and I shall see you very, very soon.